a movie based off a teen's book that is more charming than you would believe. I'm Tom, and this is SickSlickProductions' review of It's a Kind of a Funny Story. It's Kind of a Funny Story is based off a novel of the same name by author Ned Vizzini. It tells the story of Craig Gilner, a 16-year-old boy that suffers from depression due to an overbearing father and a busy schedule. He accidentally commits himself to a psychiatric ward for 5 days, and is introduced to a slew of colorful characters, including Bobby, played by Zach Galifianakis, and Noelle, played by Emma Roberts. The story is very simple. It doesn't go out of its way to be complicated. Craig's issues are all very simple, but they're big to a teenage boy, and I think that's what I like about it. It captures how depression would feel to a normal teenage boy and compares it to real depression/mental issues. It doesn't make light of the situation, it isn't poking fun, but it isn't also overly serious. It shows that yes, people are depressed and their issues are very serious, but it doesn't mean they should just shut themselves up and not have fun. The performances in this film range from pretty good to pretty phenomenal, most likely in the case of Emma Roberts and Zach Galifianakis. Emma Roberts plays Noelle, a girl who is in for self-mutilation, when she's covered in scars, even a couple going across her face, whose main character attributes include drawing a lot of pictures and leaving a lot of notes. Zach Galifianakis plays Bobby, a middle-aged man who is treating his stay in the ward as a vacation from the real world. He's homeless, divorced from his wife, estranged from his daughter, and has tried to kill himself numerous times. Galifianakis easily gives the best performance of this entire movie, and before I go any further, I just have to say, I did not see Hangover 1 or 2. I have no desire to see Hangover 1 or 2. I'm not a fan of that stupid brand of humor. In the 90s, sure, when Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler were at the top of their game, but nowadays, not so much. So I have no experience with this man, but after seeing this film, I now have a better understanding for him both on a funny level and on a serious level. His timing is perfect. He has the best moments and reactions of the entire film. The one that stands out for me is when he and Craig sneak out to go play basketball in the gymnasium of the hospital, and he gets into what he would do if he was Craig for an entire day. And he goes on for a full minute and a half, just trying to find the words, and it's done in such a realistic way. It just amazes me how realistically he portrays, well, a real person, which is what we want to see. We don't want to see acting, we want to see a realism for this kind of story. And I'm hoping he does more than stupid comedy, because he is really good as a drama actor. Other notable performances include Lauren Graham and Jim Gaffigan, who play Craig's overbearing parents, Zoe Kravitz, daughter of Lenny Kravitz, who plays Craig's love interest before Noelle completely steals the show, and one of my favorite actors of all time, Jeremy Davies, playing Smitty. Love this guy. People need to give him more roles. He is seriously underrated. The only performance I wasn't too keen on was Craig himself, who was played by Keir Gilchrist. He was just really kind of awkward. He said his lines really awkwardly and really kind of, I don't know, weird. And he always looks like he's just kind of bored, really. But I suppose that's the character itself, that's the kid he's playing, so I guess I can't really fault him for it. It did work in that case. The big highlights for this film come in the moments where we jump into Craig's mind and see how he sees things. There's this one amazing scene where it's music time for the patients, and they all get instruments and they, gonna play some music, and Craig has to get up and sing, and they start doing Under Pressure by Queen, and it is the most amazing scene ever. Because it starts with them in the hospital just playing the instruments, and then suddenly it breaks out into this huge performance with them on stage and in these outlandish costumes, and Craig is ad-libbing over, lip-syncing, over Freddie Mercury's lines, and it is hilarious and awesome. But at times it really does kind of hit close to home. There's this one scene towards the end that always kind of gets me. His best friend goes to visit him. His best friend, who is established as being this kind of smart-alecky, really douche kind of a character. But he shows up at the end to make amends and also bring back over these records that he put together. And he admits that he also gets depressed, which is, it's okay. Every teen gets depressed, which is basically what's going on. And then he looks at Craig, and he just, in this tone, with these really big, almost Bambi eyes, and he just says in this really loud tone, "Please don't kill yourself." And it gets me every single time I hear it, because this kid has been a dick the entire movie, and just one line, he shows just how much he really does care about his friend. And the actor really needs to be credited for that line. I don't remember his name, but he sold that line so well. What else? The writing is really creative, especially when it gets into Craig's imaginations. The scenes between Craig and Noelle are really well done, though more on the spot of Emma Roberts' part. She really kind of held those scenes together. The other patients well casted, especially Bobby's friends, who we see kind of here and there throughout the film. Bernard White gives a pretty interesting performance as Muqtada, Craig's roommate, who is terrified to leave his room. It's funny, it's sad, it makes you laugh, it makes you feel kind of emotional. It's not a film that's going to win any awards, and I don't think it did, but you could tell they were really trying to make a really meaningful kind of film with this one. And on that note, I really do think they succeeded. I give this movie a B+A-, and you could probably find it at your local Walmart or Best Buy. That's it for now. Tune in next time where Lynn rejoins me once again for a review of The Amazing Spider-Man. Until then, I'm Tom, and this has been SickSlickProductions.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, a favorite, subscribe to the channel, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Reddit, something awful, spray paint on buildings, make a flag of it, get it tattooed in your forearm, get it branded into your forehead. This is SickSlickProductions saying keep the spirit of the movies alive.